What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. The last day of Week 1 predictions. Got 2 or 3 more, depending on how much time I have today. But I'm definitely getting out 2 for you. And this one right here is going to be a dandy. In Seattle, Washington, we got the Washington Huskies are going to be hosting the Boise State Broncos. Could be one of the best teams out of the group of 5. It's another Week 1 preview and prediction video. Before we dive into it, thank you guys so much for the support the channel has seen as of late. If you guys want to continue to show your support for the channel, hey, you guys can hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. It's the biggest way to help support me. It does mean a lot for you guys to see when videos get uploaded, but there are more ways than that to help me support my channel. You're doing one right now by watching the video. You guys can do more by liking, commenting, sharing, anything else you guys are willing and able to do to help me support my channel would mean a lot to me. So again, apologies if my voice still sounds a little hoarse, a little rough, still trying to get over something, but nonetheless, bringing you videos today. We got the Washington Huskies, the Boise State Broncos. What a season it was for Washington last year. Kalen DeBoer's first season was outstanding, and now Washington this year enters this season as a true Pac-12 contender. Meanwhile, Boise State on the other end may not be ranked right now. They could be later down the line. They could be one of the best teams that Group of 5 sees here in 2023. So let's go ahead and look over some stats that these teams were able to put up last season. As per usual, we will start out with the road team. And in this game, that will be the Boise State Broncos. So offensively, what did this team do? Well, it was really kind of a struggle for them offensively for that first 3 or 4 games. Ended up firing their offensive coordinator. Hank Bachmeier transferred out. Taylen Green stepped in, and the offense lit up. They were great at running the football, and they probably have the best 1-2 punch at the running back position that Group of 5 may see this year. George Holani and Ashton Johnson are both coming back this season. And speaking of Taylen Green, yeah, he's coming back too. I think he's the best quarterback the Mountain West has to offer and is one of the best quarterbacks the Group of 5 sees as well. But they put up some points. They put up some yards. Were pretty solid on third down. They only allowed 1 sack per game, so the offensive line was able to do their part. Maybe you'd like to see turnovers drop down a little bit, but there's a new offensive coordinator in town here to pair with Taylen Green, George Holani, Ashton Johnson, and an amazing group of wide receivers, including Stephon Cobbs, Billy Bowens, and Eric McAllister as well as a transfer in Chase Penry, along with a pretty solid offensive line, some really good tight ends in Riley Smith and Matt Lauder. This is going to be a good offense here for Boise State in 2023. And Taylen Green, he is a star. Look for him to put up some points and some yards in this game. Meanwhile, on the defensive end, hey, this was a pretty good defense here for Boise State. They didn't allow points. They didn't allow yards. In fact, under 300 yards per game allowed. I believe that was one of the top marks in the country last season. 31.5% on third down. Hey, that was pretty good sacks. They were able to generate pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And Boise State, my apologies, has got a lot of nice talent on this defense entering 2023. The defensive line going to be led by some great players, including Dimitri Washington, Michael Callahan. You got some transfers sitting back there in the wings as well. Linebacker room, this is where some of the stars really show up. Andrew Simpson, DJ Schramm, some really good options there. And then in the defensive back room, hey, Jalen Clark is coming back. Alexander Tebner is coming back. Rodney Robinson, Markel Reed. There's a lot of experience in this secondary. At least that's what's starting. Behind them is a little bit of some younger depth. So a very experienced starting defense with some younger guys waiting in the wings there on the defensive end. So Boise State has all the makings to be one of the best teams in Group of 5 this year. But let's move over to the ranked team here, the home team, the team that calls Seattle, Washington home. It's the 10th ranked Washington Huskies, and this offense was electric last year. Most importantly was Michael Penix Jr., but they posted one of the best third down marks in the entire country at 56.8%. The offensive line was absolutely spectacular last year. They were second in the nation in fewest sacks allowed, and they were top in the nation in fewest tackles for loss allowed. This offensive line and offense in general was just fantastic. Michael Penix slung it all over the field, almost 370 yards per game, and this offense has the makings to do it all again this season. Of course, Michael Penix, I've mentioned his name, is coming back. A little bit of overhaul in the running back room. Is Dylan Johnson, a senior transfer, is expected to take over that top role. Will Nixon is sitting back there as well. When you take a look at the wide receiver room, well, it's possibly one of the best wide receiver rooms in college football, and I think it's second best only behind the Ohio State Buckeyes. You got Romeo Odunze, who I think is one of the best wide receivers in the country. Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan. You got some transfers and freshmen back there, including Jeremy Bernard. This is going to be another astounding offense. You got a lot of experience on the offensive line, especially on that left side and at center as well. I think this is going to be another really, really good Washington team here in 2023, especially offensively. When you take a look at the defensive side of the ball for this team, again, defense was kind of able to do their part last year. However, there were a lot of questions about that pass defense last year. It honestly just was not great at times, but and also, Washington didn't really force a whole lot of turnovers last year. In fact, they forced under 1 turnover per game. Now, the offense didn't turn the football over either, but turnovers were not prevalent on this defense. Only 12 on the year, but they were able to generate pressure, 37 sacks. Again, that pass defense, kind of the weakness of this defense last year, right? We'll see if it can get better. I do expect it to. You got a lot of experience in that secondary. Dominique Hampton, Asa Turner, Jabbar Muhammad is a transfer that enters this program. And especially when you look at that Washington defensive front 4, defensive front 7, man, is it scary. There's a lot of talent here at Edefwan Ulafushio, Zion Tupuola Fetui, some really good players on the defensive line, including Braylon Trice, and this is the defense that goes too deep, especially on the defensive front. If it can stay healthy, watch out. This is the Washington defense that I do expect improvement from that pass defense, and maybe force a little bit more turnovers, maybe be a little bit better on third down, but they're still going to generate pressure, and they're still going to be mayhem on, or I should say, there's still going to be a problem on the line of scrimmage for this Boise State offense, which leads me into my what to watch for here. In order for the Boise State Broncos to have a good shot to come out and win this game, you got to set the tone on the ground. Again, as I said, you got one of the best 1-2 punches at the running back position in Group of 5. George Holani, Ashton Jonty, and there are some other really great players in that backfield as well that probably will not see as much playing time, but albeit this is a really good running back room. It got almost 200 yards per game last year. And if you are going to be able to get through this defensive front for the Huskies, watch out. Could be a long day, because if you open up the run game and the run game is working, well, that just allows for more opportunities for Tailgate Green to make the Huskies secondary work. And Tailgate Green is absolutely going to do just that. He is an amazing dual threat quarterback. Again, I think he's the best quarterback that the Mountain West Conference has to offer, and could be, by the end of the year, a top 20, if not top 15, maybe even top 10 quarterback across the entire nation. I do believe his potential and ceiling is that high. I love Tailgate Green. I love what he has to work with in the wide receiver room. And if this Husky defense, especially in the pass game, does not get better, watch out. Tailgate Green is going to make you work. And on the defensive end for Boise State, no bigger factor is key than making Penix feel pressure. Now, it's easier said than done, because, of course, you have to get through that offensive line that only allowed 7 sacks last season. But if they can get to Michael Penix, and they can make the offensive line work, and they can make Michael Penix and this offense feel pressure, watch out. Boise State could have the makings for an upset trip up to Seattle, Washington. But the keys for Washington, not going to dwell on too long, because they're pretty simple. 1, let Penix and company work. It's a passing attack that had almost 370 yards per game last year. You got one of the best wide receiver rooms the country has to offer. Let it fly. Sling the football downfield. And then on defense, get into the backfield quickly on defense. Again, as much as Boise State's going to want to set the tone on the ground, Washington has got to set their tone with their physicality. They've got to be able to generate pressure on Tailgate Green, keep him inside of the pocket so he doesn't escape and make a big plays out of a situation where he really should have been sacked. And you also got to slow down these Boise State running backs, which, again, a lot easier said than done. Leading into my prediction, this offense that Washington's going to have to face here with the Boise State Broncos is going to be tough to handle. It really is, but the Huskies are going to have answers. They are they are over a 2-touchdown favorite as of right now. This is a 3:30 game on ABC. Can't wait. Looking forward to watching this one. And believe me, Boise State's going to be throwing their punches. Boise State is going to hit some marks. Boise State's going to end up scoring some points here. But the Broncos are not going to have enough to compete with one of the best offenses in the country in the Washington Huskies. Michael Penix is going to be fantastic. I even believe this Washington run game, if everything goes right, can get going here as well. But the Washington Huskies are going to win this game. Boise State's going to keep this one close. That's a very respectable football team on the other side of the ball. But I do believe Washington, at the end of the day, comes away victorious. That's going to do it for my thoughts on this game. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. And hey, as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.